Welcome to Guitar at Home with Remy. Today we're going to talk about the GT40. I got a lot of questions actually from friends and people who know guitars and know amps who are like, why the hell are you using this thing? It has kind of a bad rep, honestly. Most of the reviews are not nice. They are very critical of it, very negative, and deservedly so if you're trying to use it as something that's not. It is not a Katana 50, it isn't a Marshall Code 50, much less anything bigger. It doesn't even compare well to a Code 25, to be honest. However, it does one thing, actually a couple things, better than any of them, and that's work at home. So, why? Why would you go with this over something else if that's all it does? Well, it's small. I mean, you put my hand, it is not a big amp. It really isn't. It's light. It fits nicely into a home environment. I'm going to throw up a picture of it where I normally use it, and you'll see it really tucks away nicely. In fact, I saw a review by a gentleman who reviews very high-end equipment, and as he put it, the amp has two roles: sitting in your living room playing around at moderate volume, not pissing off everybody around you, and recording. And if you're using recording directly through the unit, out the headphone jack to your rig, works pretty damn well. It isn't on par with much higher end units, but it does that very well compared to anything else in the price range. The sound is not on par with the Katanas. I go back and forth. Should I have this or should I switch to a Katana 50 or even the Katana 100 head? I was playing with that today. If you take a Katana 100 head, it has the 5-watt speaker, it works pretty well as a home amp. It really does. The speaker's not superb, but if you're mostly playing at lower volume and you're also going to be using headphones regularly, excellent option. What else do I like? With the remote control, using your iPad, iPhone, excellent interface. It is very easy to make changes, very easy to fine-tune your sound, very easy to play around and come up with new stuff. I haven't had any problems there, except, and here's a biggie, if your iPhone, or I assume Android, updates the app, if you have it set to auto update, and it updates, and then you go to connect to your amp, you're SOL. Fender's update service for the amp is slow. It is unavailable regularly. I'm an IT guy by trade, and I am willing to bet that the problem is simply that they can't keep up with demand. They outsource the service. It isn't directly through Fender, and I think that what happens is there's an update, and they've sold how many of these units? Thousands, and thousands of the larger ones, and everybody's trying to update that day. We all went to connect and said, oh, well, the service can't handle that many people. So you try again, and you try again, and you try again, and eventually you get to update. I've never had it fail. I've simply had to repeat over and over and over and over the course of an afternoon or an evening until finally I got into the queue and got updated. That can be extremely frustrating. It is frustrating enough that this almost went back today. That was why I was looking at the Katana 100, and I also messed around with a 50 again. Could I live without the wireless? Certainly I could. Is it worth it to me? The answer is no. Weaknesses. The speakers. Honestly, I think that Fender did themselves a disservice trying to make it a stereo unit. I think they should have restricted that to the headphone jack. I really, they were trying to make a unit that can play over Bluetooth from your phone as an audio device, a Bluetooth speaker. I've never used that feature because I can't get it to work unless I disable all the other Bluetooth connections on my phone and, you know, unpair my car, unpair my Bluetooth speakers that I normally use, unpair the other Bluetooth speakers I normally use, unpair the office speakers. There's probably a half dozen things in there. The amp wants to be number one. It wants to be the first item on that list, and otherwise it doesn't work. At least that's what I'm told, because I've never bothered. Really, if that's what you're using it for, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. It's a neat idea. Line 6 on the Amplify units has something similar. I don't know if theirs works any better, but the execution is more hassle than it's worth. And even then, stereo speakers, really? I mean, that's not stereo. That's two speakers playing stereo signal, but it's not actually a stereo effect in practice. And it's a lot of money. I think this unit would have been much better served if they made it slightly taller, slightly narrower, and made it an 8-inch speaker. I just think that the sacrifices that were made to be stereo were not worthwhile. In terms of the speaker setup, mind you, I think it is excellent that it is stereo for the headphone jack, because honestly, I think they expect a lot of people to be using headphones with this, and I do. When I got it, one of the considerations was, can I plug in headphones and get good sound? Is there cab out simulation for the headphone jack? Is it clear? Is the headphone jack decent quality? The knobs, the Marshalls were better. The Boss 50 was probably similar. I'm not really. Pick your unit. You know, it's not a product line difference. I think individual ones probably are better or worse between the two. The Katana 100s, definitely the knobs feel better. Certainly the Katana 100 head felt better, but not bad. Not cheap. They've got a nice smooth. I'm not even sure what the term for it is. Dampened feel. Like there's a grease or something in there, smoothing it out as you move it. It's not just turning on friction. The screen is clear and easy to read, which is, if you're in your bedroom at night, you know, fooling around, it's kind of nice to be able to walk over, glance at it real quick, and not have to squint. Some of the numbering's a little small, but it's clear. The Marshalls were good for that too. I didn't have any problem with the Marshall. My first modeling amp, I went from a Crush 12 to a Marshall Code 50. It got frustrating. I took the unit back and got this guy. And after the break-in of the speakers, which if you judge this based on how it sounds when you take a new one home, you're gonna cry. You are gonna take it back in an hour and be frustrated. Put it on flat EQ in the global EQ. Play it for a few days at least. Put 10 hours on those speakers, 15 hours on those speakers. Then come back and play with your master EQ, your global EQ, then judge the speakers. They're not as horrible as a lot of people think. They're not great. They're 6.5-inch speakers, full range, but certainly they're not as bad as they sound initially, and they're not as bad as some people have been saying. Give it a chance. Give one a try. If you're looking for a smaller home amp, mostly that you're going to run through headphones or at moderate volume, Mustang GT40 is an awesome option. Forget about it as a Bluetooth speaker. Go buy a cheap Bose. Go buy a little JBL. Go buy some generic off Amazon for $50. Anything is probably a better option. I ended up buying a pair of edifier speakers that I use for my computer, I use for my recording rig, I use through Bias FX at my desk to play. I'm happy with it. The update service is annoying. The lousy Bluetooth setup as a speaker is annoying because that is a feature that I thought I would actually use. But it's not annoying enough that I took it back and got a Katana, as much as I love them. I really, that's the choice. If you're like me, the choice for units is between this and a Katana 50 probably. There's really, the Marshalls, that volume issue is a pain in the butt. I don't know what else to tell you. I'm sure there's a Line 6 equivalents. I haven't messed with them. I can't get my hands on an Amplify. The local stores don't have them. So honestly, I'm waiting. My next amp will be a Katana once the wireless feature from the Katana Air comes into something the size of a Katana 50 or Katana 100. I would really like the effects loop of a Katana 100. If the Katana 50 had an effects loop, I would have one. But this is a review of this guy. This is a discussion of this guy for at home. So let me get back on topic real quick. What else do I like? What else do I hate? I like the fact that it looks good. If you don't like the look, hey, different choices, different styles. But I think it's a slick little look. I think it is a combination of classic and modern. It doesn't clash with anything particularly. It is very unobtrusive. The only really visible thing, if you put this on a shelf or tuck it away somewhere, is this Fender logo. And it's not bad. It's not obnoxious. It's not like the Roland Cubes or anything like that, where it's a big giant block lettering across here. It's very subtle, and it's small enough that, I mean, honestly, that's you can tuck that almost anywhere. I put it on an end table with a piece of art. It literally fits diagonally on that table, aimed at my bed. Works great. Have fun, keep playing. Click subscribe, I appreciate it. Click like, and enjoy, folks. Take it easy.